Hi, welcome to Book Wound! Hi, I'm glad you chose to spend some time with me. This is a special mini vlog that is completely dedicated to my read for TBRathon of the January. We need a book that is historical fiction, that also has a person on the cover and that has been recommended on YouTube. And for this read, I have picked the first book in a duology. The duology is called La folle destinée des Cœurs or The Crazy Destiny of the Cœurs. And the first book is called Un secret bien gardé or A Secret Well Kept. And these books are by Aurore Drécourt, who is also known as Adé Martel, of whom I am listening to the series Le Secret du Faucon. She is an historian, and this book is published under her real name because it has a link to the thesis she wrote while she was studying. And we are traveling to a zone in France that is called Bretagne. I will put a little map on the screen so that you can see where exactly it is. And we will be meeting this young girl who is daughter of a noble family. And she will find out that some important baptizing document has gone missing. So is her older brother, who should at some point take her father's place. And amongst all of this, her father dies of a cardiac arrest. She also discovers that her twin brother has gone missing. So basically, she finds herself all on her own. That is not that much big of a problem because she is very independent and very resourceful. And so she decides to dress up as her twin brother because they anyway look a lot alike and people kept being confused. And so she can find out where this document has gone off to. And this sounded as a very interesting story to me. I have seen it recommended by two French booktubers. One is Emilija from La Bibliothèque d'Emilija, and the other is Valérie from My Little Library. And so this book does have the 3 prompts for this readathon. I will putting on a timer of 24 hours of reading starting tonight, which is Friday night, and going all the way until Sunday midnight. And we'll see how many hours that I effectively managed to read this weekend. So in Belgium, this is the last weekend of the Christmas school break. So this means that we are completely out of our usual schedules, but it also means that on Friday we'll need to prepare for a completely new week of school. And also we have some activities planned this weekend. If you want to see more about those, go check out my carousel vlog that should be up around the same time as this one. I think I will probably be able to read at least 10 hours. And I will come back to you tomorrow morning to tell you about my impressions after what I read tonight. And then I will come back to you on Sunday morning to tell you about my reading of Saturday, and Monday morning I will do the same for Sunday, so that we'll see how far that I got in this book. It's Saturday morning and the kids have taken over the living room to watch some TV. So I made myself a cup of coffee and I came back upstairs to talk to you about how my first hours of reading went. If you hear a beep every now and then, like this one, we have a terrarium upstairs and it tends to beep when temperatures are fluctuating, and in the morning that is normal. Unfortunately, cannot do anything about it. It will be less problematic than the telly. Yesterday I ended up reading 4.5 hours in the read I picked. What is La Folle Destinée des Quais de Lac, book 1 by Aurore Drécourt. And I read until slightly past over the 50% mark. This has not happened in a long while, that a book is so impossible to put down that I need to force myself to be able to get some sleep. I have met Sophie and Etienne, twins from a smaller area of Bretagne. They are 19 years old and they are basically from a French family that is noble by descent, but that except of their castle, do not have many wealth left. They live very down to earth, very in the practical side of things on their domain, or at least Sophie is. She is very outgoing, she is very interested, and she is very boy-like. Her twin brother, on the other hand, is the more introvert one. He is the voice of reason, but also he is the dreamy, my nose in a book type. And their both personalities function very well in the sense that Sophie has taken the habit of dressing up as Etienne, since their physical features are very alike, and taking sword fighting courses in his place, but also taking his place helping their father taking care of their estate and the people living on it. And she really does enjoy those tasks, but she also enjoys the freedom of being dressed like a boy, which is to her way more comfortable than the 18th century's woman clothing. One day, when her father has left for Rennes for the winter, she sees her father return completely stressed out. And he's looking for some baptizing papers to prove that they are related to another noble person who just died and who died without an heir and who leaves a huge fortune behind. And they need this money. There is another family that could prove to be related to this man, but when they end up finding the baptizing act, they are just slightly closer. So they know that this heritage is for them. And her father, Charles, takes his whole family with him to Rennes. So the whole family consists of Henriette and Charles, the parents. They have one first boy, also called Charles, but he disappeared at sea. Then they have a daughter who's called Louise, who is being presented into the society a little bit like in Bridgerton. After Louise, Sophie and Etienne were born, but the family didn't end there. There is also Eloise, who is now 15 and she's deaf. And there is also Philippe, 9 years old. The whole family is embarked to Rennes, like I said, to not only be presented to society, but also to make sure that this heritage event is closed properly. In Rennes, things will get slightly more complicated when, after the first evening and a ball, the paper that is so important to the Gardé family has gone missing. But not only the paper has gone missing, also Etienne did. He had tried to talk to Sophie, but caught up in the women part of society, she hadn't had the possibility to speak with him that night. And she will be completely devastated, but also not so very unsurprised when she receives a small letter explaining that he is off going to see the country. Because Etienne has the flow of fleeting in face of every type of problem that or a situation that he doesn't want to be in occurs. And all this situation takes their toll on their father, who has a heart attack. And when I read summaries of this book, I thought he died, but he does not. He turns out that he has a weak heart, that he knows about this, and that he, at this point, is forced to have some very heavy bed rest because he is not doing well at all. This leaves the woman of the family quite alone and quite in danger, and some event that occurs makes that Sophie dresses up as Etienne, takes his place, defends her mother and her sisters and her younger brother by the same means. And when Louise finds out of this little misstep, but it's not of this how do you call it in English? Let's call it this situation. She becomes her sister's ally, trying together with her to discover who has stolen this paper. Sophie will have to jungle between being herself and between being Etienne. She will get involved in a lot of situations that are more tricky, the one than the other. But every second of this book is interesting and is entertaining. The writing style is very typically A.D. Martel's. It is a simple language, but it is also very, how would I describe that? It is taking you in, it is leading you on further. The reading of it is so fluent that it isn't like feeling like very simple at the same time. This is something I very much appreciate about A.D. Martel's writing is that aspect. It is so fluent and still so simple and so immersing that time flies whilst reading it. I also really much like the different characters. I think Sophie, as all female characters from Aurore, is a strong-willed young girl. She is still very different from, like, for example, Cyrielle. But you feel that it is a type of character that Aurore really wants to represent. And it is refreshing to have a female character that has so much drive in her. I think it is also very well done in a way of the internal struggle that Sophie sometimes has playing both roles, and interesting to see how she has to continually, or wants to continually, be as close as possible to her brother's personality, thinking of when he comes back, she doesn't want him to suffer from like the inconsistencies in between when she was him and when he's him. Especially when she discovers that maybe her brother behind his own back has been promised to a girl. And of course, she knows she cannot marry him right now because that would put an end to all of their investigations and would be a big shame for her family. And so she tries to navigate all that. At the middle of this book, I still have no clue where the paper went. I have one or two suspects, but there is not really anything that backs this up. It is really a gut feeling. I think it will be time to get up, to get breakfast. It started snowing, so I think we'll be going out for a while. And then this afternoon, I will be participating in Leandra's first sprint session. It is Sunday and I come back to you to tell you about my progress in La Folle Destinée des Kerdelec. To my grand surprise, I finished the book yesterday evening. I think I have never finished as quickly a book of almost 500 pages. In the second half of this book, we will see how Sophie gets more and more entangled with the Count of Carnac, and we will see a whole character development through the events that are taking place in and mostly in the philosophical thinking about the role of women and of nobility in that time. And also having a glimpse into these women who did change or tried to change things and took the power they could take over their own lives, but also in influencing the men around them to create a society more inclusive of them. I thought this was very well done and very interesting because at no point I had the feeling that I was reading some philosophical or, let's say, pure informative historical text. It stayed a very, very good story to read, full of twists and turns that I didn't see coming. And I also really was surprised by the end. In the first way, because I really thought that we would finish up like the story, or at least have more answers than we got. We only end up finding out who stole the paper that went missing and why, but we do not have any closure on the story of the characters. And now I am very impatient to read the second book of this duology. So I think that we can conclude that this TBRathon weekend was a success. I have read 9.5 hours out of the 24, and then I finished the book. I set out that I wanted to read 10 hours at least, and hopefully have made big progress in the book, and I ended up finishing it in lesser time. So I am looking forward to next month and see if I can repeat this, how you would call it, miracle, or this big trick. I hope you had a great time discovering this book, that you have, if you participated, that you also had a great reading experience and a great weekend. See you soon!